The cargo ship landed on station Vexar 7 with a loud hiss of pressure release. The docking bay was crowded with aliens of every shape and size. Tall insectoid creatures walked beside floating jellyfish beings. Reptilian traders argued with four-armed merchants. This was the busiest trading hub in the Outer Rim, and everyone here had seen everything, or so they thought. Maya Chen stepped off the ship and took her first breath of recycled station air. She was 23 years old, fresh out of the Earth Space Academy, and this was her first posting away from the solar system. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and her standard-issue gray uniform was slightly too big for her small frame. She looked around with wide eyes, trying not to appear as nervous as she felt. "Move along, human," growled a Tyrexian guard. The creature stood 8 feet tall with blue-scaled skin and tusks jutting from its lower jaw. "You're blocking traffic." Maya quickly stepped aside, bumping into a merchant cart and nearly knocking over a display of glowing crystals. The merchant, a spider-like being with too many eyes, clicked its mandibles in anger. "Sorry, I'm so sorry," Maya said, her face turning red with embarrassment. This was not how she had imagined her first day would go. Back on Earth, she had graduated top of her class in xenobiology. She had studied every known alien species. She had memorized their customs, their languages, their social structures. But standing here, surrounded by actual aliens, all that knowledge felt useless. The reality was overwhelming. She checked her wrist device and found the directions to the station's biological research center. That was where she would be working for the next 2 years. Earth had finally been accepted into the Galactic Coalition, but humans were still considered primitives. They were tolerated, but not respected. Maya was determined to change that, even if she was just one small human on a massive alien station. The walk to the research center took her through the market district. Strange smells filled the air. Some were pleasant, like flowers from distant worlds. Others made her want to cover her nose. She passed food stalls selling wriggling things and bubbling liquids that she was sure would kill a human instantly. A group of young aliens noticed her and started laughing. They were Vialori, a species known for their beauty and their cruelty. They had silver skin and eyes that shifted colors like oil on water. "Look at the little pink creature," one of them said loud enough for Maya to hear. "Earth finally sent someone to clean the toilets." The others laughed harder. Maya kept walking, pretending she hadn't heard. She knew that humans were at the bottom of the social ladder out here. Earth's technology was thousands of years behind the rest of the galaxy. Humans had no natural weapons, no special abilities, no psychic powers. They were soft, weak, and lived embarrassingly short lives compared to most species. But Maya had something that she believed was just as valuable. She had curiosity and determination. Her professors had always said she had a gift for understanding animals. Even the most aggressive creatures seemed to calm down around her. She hoped that skill would serve her well in her new job. The research center was a massive dome structure near the edge of the station. Maya presented her credentials to the security system and waited as it scanned her. "Human," the computer announced in a flat voice. "Species classification, primitive. Threat level, negligible. Access granted to level 1 areas only." The doors slid open, and Maya walked into a lobby filled with holographic displays of various alien creatures. A Tralaxian scientist was waiting for her. The Tralaxian looked like a praying mantis crossed with a tree, with bark-like skin and long, thin limbs. "You are the Earth intern," the scientist said. It was not a question. "I am Senior Researcher Kellex. Follow me." Maya hurried to keep up with Kellex's long strides. The scientist did not slow down or make conversation. They passed through corridor after corridor, each one lined with transparent walls that showed various containment units. Inside, Maya could see creatures from across the galaxy. Some were small and cute, others were nightmares made flesh. "You have been assigned to feeding duty in the lower levels," Kellex said. "This is standard work for new researchers of your skill level." I understand, Maya said, trying to sound professional. I'm grateful for the opportunity. Kellex made a sound that might have been a laugh. Grateful? Yes. The lower levels contain our most dangerous specimens. Most new researchers request transfers within the first week. Several have quit. 2 have died. Maya swallowed hard, but kept her expression neutral. I won't let you down. We shall see, Kellex said. They stopped at a heavy, reinforced door. Warning signs in dozens of languages covered its surface. Maya recognized the universal symbols for extreme danger, biological hazard, and death. This is level 7, Kellex explained. Beyond this door is the specimen known as the Shadow Maw. It is the apex predator of the Void Territories. It has killed 37 researchers and guards since its capture 4 years ago. Your job is to deliver its food each day. How do I deliver the food if it kills everyone who enters? Maya asked. You don't enter. You use the remote feeding system from the observation room. Under no circumstances are you to open the containment cell. Under no circumstances are you to approach the barrier. The Shadow Maw is not just dangerous, it is intelligent. It will try to trick you. It will try to lure you closer. Many have made the mistake of underestimating it. They are all dead now. Kellex handed Maya a data pad with the feeding schedule and protocols. Then, without another word, the scientist walked away, leaving Maya alone in front of the most dangerous door she had ever seen. She stood there for a long moment, staring at the warning signs. Her heart was beating fast, but beneath the fear she felt something else. Curiosity. She had always been drawn to the creatures that others feared. Growing up on Earth, she had rescued stray dogs that everyone said were too aggressive. She had nursed injured hawks back to health when animal control wanted to euthanize them. There was something about looking into the eyes of a so-called monster and seeing something more. Maya entered her access code and stepped through the door. She found herself in a small observation room with thick, transparent walls. Beyond the walls was a massive containment chamber, easily the size of a football field. The chamber was designed to mimic the Void Territories, a region of space known for its darkness and its terrors. The lighting was dim, casting long shadows across the rocky terrain. At first, Maya couldn't see anything. The chamber appeared empty. But then she noticed movement in the shadows. Something was watching her. She could feel it. The Shadow Maw emerged slowly from the darkness. Maya's breath caught in her throat as she saw it for the first time. The creature was unlike anything she had ever seen, even in her studies. It was roughly the size of a tiger. But that was where any comparison to Earth animals ended. Its body was covered in scales that seemed to absorb light, making it hard to focus on. 6 legs supported its powerful frame, each ending in claws that looked sharp enough to cut through steel. Its head was elongated, with no visible eyes, just a massive jaw filled with rows of teeth that glowed faintly in the darkness. From its back extended 2 long appendages that ended in barbed tips. The creature moved toward the transparent wall with terrifying grace. It made no sound. That was perhaps the most unsettling part. Something that large should make noise when it moved, but the Shadow Maw was silent as death itself. It stopped just on the other side of the wall, mere inches from where Maya stood. She could see the muscles rippling under its dark scales. The barbed appendages on its back slowly waved back and forth, like a cat preparing to pounce. Maya should have been terrified. She should have stepped back and activated the remote feeding system like she was supposed to. But instead, she did something that would have made Kellex furious. She raised her hand and placed it against the transparent wall. The Shadow Maw tilted its head. For a long moment, nothing happened. The creature simply stared at her with its eyeless face. Then it did something that no one in 4 years had ever seen it do. It sat down. Maya felt tears forming in her eyes, though she couldn't explain why. There was something in the way the creature held itself, something in the way it watched her. It wasn't the mindless aggression everyone described. It was loneliness. This creature had been trapped in this chamber for 4 years, poked and prodded by scientists who saw it only as a specimen. No one had ever looked at it and seen anything other than a monster. "Hi there," Maya whispered. "You're not as scary as they say, are you?" The Shadow Maw's appendages stopped moving. Its massive head lowered slightly, almost like a bow. From that moment on, everything changed. Maya had no idea that this simple act of kindness would alter her life forever. She had no idea that this creature, the most feared predator in the known galaxy, had been waiting for someone to see it as more than a monster. And she certainly had no idea that this meeting was just the beginning of something that would shake the entire galactic community to its core. But one thing was certain: the human rookie had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same again. 3 weeks passed on Station Vexar 7, and strange rumors began spreading through the research center. The staff whispered about the human intern and her unusual behavior. They said she spent hours in the Level 7 observation room, talking to the Shadow Maw like it was a household pet. They said the creature no longer paced its enclosure in angry circles. They said it waited by the transparent wall each day, as if expecting someone. Most dismissed these rumors as exaggeration. The Shadow Maw was a mindless killing machine. Everyone knew that. It had no capacity for attachment or emotion. The human was probably just too stupid to understand the danger she was in. But Maya knew the truth. Each day, she arrived at the observation room before anyone else. She brought her datapad and sat cross-legged on the floor, reviewing research notes while the Shadow Maw lay on the other side of the wall. She talked to it about her day, about her struggles fitting in on the station, about how much she missed Earth. The creature couldn't understand her words, but it seemed to respond to her voice. Its appendages would relax. Its massive form would settle into a resting position. She had started calling it Shadow. The name felt right. On this particular morning, Maya arrived to find Kellex waiting outside Level 7. The Trilaxian researcher stood with its thin arms folded, its compound eyes fixed on Maya with an expression she couldn't read. "Senior Researcher Kellex," Maya said, trying to hide her surprise. "Is something wrong?" "I have reviewed the monitoring footage from your observation sessions," Kellex said. "Your behavior is highly irregular. You spend far more time than necessary in this area. You appear to be attempting communication with the specimen." Maya's heart sank. "I was just trying to understand its behavior patterns. My xenobiology training emphasized the importance of observation and—" "You are not qualified to study this specimen," Kellex interrupted. "You are here to deliver food through the remote system, that is all. Your presence appears to be affecting the creature's behavior, and this is concerning to the research team." "Affecting it how?" Maya asked. Kellex was silent for a moment. "The Shadow Maw has always been violent. It attacks the walls of its enclosure. It destroys environmental features within hours of installation. It attempts to ambush any drone that enters for maintenance. But since you arrived, this behavior has decreased by 63%. The specimen now spends most of its time near the observation wall. It ignores the feeding drones entirely until you leave for the day." Maya wasn't sure if this was meant as criticism or curiosity. "Isn't reduced aggression a good thing?" "Unknown. This behavior is unprecedented. We do not understand it, and what we do not understand is dangerous." Kellex unfolded its arms and stepped aside. "However, the station director has decided to allow your sessions to continue under close monitoring. Your unusual effect on the specimen has attracted attention from higher authorities. They wish to see where this leads." Maya felt a mix of relief and worry. She didn't want Shadow being treated like even more of a test subject than it already was. But at least she could continue her visits. "Thank you," she said. Kellex made that strange laughing sound again. "Do not thank me. I advised against this decision. You are playing with forces you cannot comprehend, human. The shadow maw is not a creature that can be tamed or befriended. It is a perfect predator. Whatever connection you believe you have formed is likely nothing more than a hunting strategy. It is learning your patterns. It is waiting for an opportunity. With that warning, Kellex walked away. Maya entered the observation room with those words echoing in her mind. But when she saw Shadow already waiting by the wall, its eyeless head turned toward the door as if it had sensed her arrival. She couldn't believe that Kellex was right. There was something real here, something the other researchers couldn't understand because they had never tried. "Hey, Shadow," she said softly, settling into her usual spot. "I missed you." The creature's appendages swayed gently, almost like a dog wagging its tail. Days turned into weeks. Maya's routine became well known throughout the station. The strange human who talked to the monster. Other researchers began observing her sessions from secondary monitoring stations, recording everything, taking notes. Maya tried to ignore them. She focused on Shadow, on building trust, on proving that even the most feared creature in the galaxy deserved compassion. She began noticing small changes in Shadow's behavior. The creature had learned to recognize different sounds she made. When she greeted it, its head would rise. When she laughed at something on her datapad, its appendages would flicker with interest. When she yawned and mentioned being tired, the creature would lower itself to the ground and close its massive jaw, as if encouraging her to rest. Maya started bringing items from her quarters to show Shadow. A book from Earth, though the creature couldn't see it in any traditional sense. A music player that she held against the transparent wall so the vibrations might pass through. Shadow responded to music with obvious fascination. Its entire body would go still, focused completely on the sensation. One evening, something remarkable happened. Maya was tired from a long day of dealing with dismissive colleagues. She sat in the observation room with her head in her hands, not speaking, just trying to collect herself before returning to her small quarters. Shadow pressed against the transparent wall. Its massive form blocked out what little light existed in the chamber, and then for the first time, it made a sound. It was a low vibration, barely audible, felt more than heard. It resonated through the wall and into Maya's body. It wasn't threatening. It was gentle, almost like a purr. Maya looked up in shock. Are you trying to comfort me?" Shadow made the sound again, longer this time. Maya placed both hands on the wall, and Shadow pressed its head against the opposite side, matching her position exactly. They stayed like that for several minutes. The most dangerous predator in the galaxy, and the small human who refused to be afraid of it. News of this incident spread quickly. By the next morning, Maya found herself summoned to the station director's office. Director Vosh was a crystalline, a species whose bodies were made of living gemstone. Light refracted through Vosh's form, casting rainbow patterns across the walls of the luxurious office. The director was ancient and powerful, responsible for overseeing all operations on Vexar 7. "Miss Chen," Vosh said, the words emerging as musical tones from somewhere within the crystal structure. "Your interactions with specimen Shadow Maw have become a matter of considerable interest. Several coalition members have requested permission to observe your sessions. Scientists from 12 different worlds want to study how you have achieved this unprecedented behavioral modification." Maya stood at attention, trying not to fidget. "With respect, Director, I haven't done anything special. I just treated it like a thinking being instead of a monster. And yet, no one else has ever done this simple thing," Vosh replied. "In 4 years, hundreds of researchers have interacted with this specimen. All approached it with fear, with weapons, with protective measures. You approached it with kindness. This is apparently a uniquely human trait." "I don't think kindness is uniquely human," Maya said carefully. "Perhaps not. But humans appear to possess an unusual capacity for it, even toward creatures that should be feared. Your species has barely left your home planet, yet you arrive here and accomplish what our greatest xenobiologists could not. Vosh's crystalline form shifted, light dancing across its surfaces. There is a proposal on the table, Miss Chen. The Coalition wishes to test whether your bond with the Shadow Maw is genuine. They want you to enter the containment chamber. Maya's blood ran cold. Enter the chamber? As in, be in the same space as Shadow? Correct. If the creature truly has bonded with you, as you claim, then it will not attack. If the bond is false, well, we will learn that as well. And if I refuse? Then the specimen will be euthanized. The Coalition has tolerated its existence because of its value to scientific research. But if it cannot be controlled or studied safely, it serves no purpose. Your visits have given hope that perhaps this creature can be understood. If you refuse to prove this hope valid, there is no reason to keep the specimen alive. Maya felt sick. This wasn't a test. It was a trap. Either she risked her life by entering Shadow's enclosure, or she condemned the creature to death. "Can I have time to consider?" she asked. "You have until tomorrow morning," Vosh said. "I suggest you use that time wisely." Maya left the director's office in a daze. She wandered through the station without seeing where she was going, her mind racing with impossible choices. Shadow trusted her. She knew it in her bones. But could she stake her life on that trust? She found herself standing outside Level 7 without remembering how she got there. The heavy door loomed before her, covered in warnings about death and danger. Beyond that door was a creature that could tear her apart in seconds. And yet, that same creature had purred for her. It had waited for her each day. It had tried to comfort her when she was sad. Maya entered the observation room. Shadow was already at the wall, waiting. As soon as it sensed her presence, the low, purring vibration began again. She sat down and pressed her forehead against the transparent wall. Shadow mirrored the gesture, its massive head just inches from hers. "They want me to come in there with you," Maya whispered. "No barriers, no protection, just you and me." Shadow's appendages rose and fell in a slow rhythm. The purring continued, soft and steady. "If I'm wrong about you, I'm going to die tomorrow," Maya said, tears rolling down her cheeks. "And if I'm right, it changes everything, for both of us." The creature made a new sound, higher pitched, almost questioning. Maya smiled through her tears. "I trust you, Shadow. I don't know why, but I do. I've never been more scared in my life, but I trust you." She stayed there all night, not sleeping, just sitting with Shadow as the hours counted down. Tomorrow, she would either prove that humans possessed something special, something that could bridge impossible gaps between species, or she would become the 38th victim of the most dangerous predator in the galaxy. Either way, the universe was watching, and Maya was determined to show them what humanity was made of. The observation deck above Level 7 was packed with beings from across the galaxy. Director Vosh stood at the center, crystalline body glowing with nervous energy. Representatives from 15 coalition species had arrived overnight, each wanting to witness what they called the human experiment. News feeds from dozens of worlds were broadcasting live. This small moment on a remote trading station had become the most watched event in galactic history. Maya stood before the reinforced door that led into Shadow's enclosure. She wore no protective gear. She carried no weapons. That was the rule. If she truly trusted the creature, she needed nothing but that trust. Kellex approached her one final time. The Trilaxian's bark-like face showed something that might have been concern. "You still have the option to refuse. The specimen's termination would not be your fault." "Yes, it would," Maya said quietly. "Shadow deserves better than to die because people are afraid of what they don't understand. This faith you have in a creature that has killed 37 beings is irrational," Kellex said. Maybe. But sometimes irrational faith is exactly what's needed. Maya took a deep breath. Open the door. Calyx hesitated for a long moment, then stepped back and entered the release code. The massive door slid open with a hydraulic hiss. Beyond it lay the simulated void territory environment, dark and vast and full of shadows. Somewhere in that darkness, Shadow was waiting. Maya stepped through the doorway. The door sealed behind her with a sound of terrible finality. She stood at the edge of the enclosure, her heart pounding so hard she could feel it in her throat. The air here was different, cooler, with a strange electric quality that made her skin tingle. This was Shadow's domain, and she was now just a visitor in the home of a predator. She couldn't see anything. The darkness was almost complete. Her human eyes were useless here. She could only stand and wait. Movement. She felt it more than saw it, a presence in the darkness circling her slowly. Shadow's appendages made a soft whistling sound as they cut through the air. The creature was assessing the situation, trying to understand why its human was suddenly here, vulnerable and unprotected. Maya forced herself to stay calm. She kept her voice steady as she spoke. "It's me, Shadow. I'm here. I'm not going to hurt you, and I'm trusting you not to hurt me." The circling stopped. Maya could feel the creature close now, impossibly close. Its breath washed over her. Hot and strange smelling. Its scales scraped against rock as it moved into position directly in front of her. Above, on the observation deck, dozens of beings held their breath. Weapons were ready. Emergency protocols were standing by. Everyone expected to witness a killing. Humans were fragile, foolish, and far too trusting. The galaxy was about to learn why primitive species should stay on their home planets. Shadow's massive head lowered until it was level with Maya's face. She could feel the heat radiating from its scales. She could smell the predator's scent that made every instinct scream at her to run. Its jaw opened slightly, revealing rows of glowing teeth, each one capable of ending her life in an instant. Maya reached out her hand. She placed her palm against Shadow's snout. The creature went completely still. For 3 heartbeats, nothing happened. The entire galaxy watched a small human touching the most dangerous predator in known space. No one moved. No one spoke. Then Shadow made that purring sound, deep and resonant, filling the entire chamber with gentle vibration. It pressed forward into Maya's touch, seeking more contact. Its appendages lowered and wrapped around her, not aggressively, but protectively, like wings sheltering a chick. Maya started crying. She couldn't help it. She had bet everything on this moment, and she had been right. "Good girl," she whispered, not even knowing if Shadow was female. It didn't matter. "Good girl, I knew you weren't a monster." Shadow guided her deeper into the enclosure, moving slowly so Maya could keep pace. The creature led her to a sheltered area surrounded by rocks. This was its den. Its safe place. No other being had ever seen this space. Shadow lay down on the ground and made room beside it, inviting Maya to rest against its massive body. Maya sat down and leaned against Shadow's warm flank. The creature's appendages remained wrapped around her, holding her close. The purring continued, rhythmic and soothing. Above them, the observation deck had erupted into chaos. Representatives were shouting in dozens of languages. Scientists were demanding explanations. News commentators were struggling to describe what they were witnessing. Nothing in their collective knowledge could explain how a human had just walked into a monster's lair and emerged as its chosen companion. Director Vosh eventually restored order and opened a communication channel to the enclosure. "Miss Chen," the crystalline voice echoed through the chamber. "Can you hear me?" "I can hear you," Maya called back, not moving from her position against Shadow. "I assume you have questions." "The entire coalition has questions," Vosh replied. "What you have done should be impossible. the shadow maw species has never shown any capacity for bonding with other life forms. They are solitary apex predators. They kill everything that enters their territory. Maybe that's because no one ever gave them a reason not to, Maya said. Shadow was captured and locked in a box for 4 years. Everyone who came near it treated it like a thing to be feared or studied. I just treated it like a fellow living being. There was silence from the observation deck. Then a new voice spoke, one Maya didn't recognize. It belonged to a coalition elder, a member of the governing council that oversaw all galactic affairs. Human, the elder said. What you have demonstrated today challenges fundamental assumptions about predator psychology. Your species has been classified as primitive, lacking the evolutionary advantages possessed by the Coalition's member races. Yet you have accomplished something that none of our advanced civilizations could achieve. How do you explain this? Maya thought carefully before answering. Shadow's purring helped her focus, gave her confidence. On Earth, we have a saying, it takes one to know one. Humans are also predators. We don't have claws or scales or special abilities, but we hunted our way to the top of our planet's food chain. Maybe Shadow recognized something familiar in me. Maybe it understood that I wasn't prey because I didn't act like prey. She paused, gathering her thoughts. But humans are also something else. We're pack animals. We form bonds with other species. We've been doing it for thousands of years, turning wolves into dogs, wild cats into house cats. We don't see every dangerous creature as an enemy. Sometimes we see them as potential friends. I think that's what makes us different. We're predators who know how to love. The elder was quiet for a long time. Finally, the ancient voice spoke again. The Coalition will need to reevaluate humanity's classification. A species capable of what you have demonstrated today cannot be dismissed as primitive. There is clearly something unique about your kind, something we failed to recognize. Maya smiled against Shadow's warm scales. Does this mean humans will finally get some respect around here? It means, the elder said slowly, that perhaps the galaxy still has much to learn, and perhaps it is time for humans to teach us. The transmission ended. Maya stayed in the enclosure for the rest of the day, sitting with Shadow, feeling the creature's contentment radiating through its body. Everything was going to change now. She could feel it. Her species would no longer be overlooked or dismissed. Over the following months, Maya's story spread to every corner of the galaxy. She became famous, though she didn't particularly enjoy the attention. What mattered to her was Shadow, who was transferred from the research center to a proper habitat designed specifically for its comfort. Maya was appointed as its official caretaker and guardian. She received offers from countless organizations wanting to study her bond-forming abilities. She turned most of them down. She wasn't interested in becoming a celebrity or a test subject. She just wanted to do her job and be with Shadow. Other humans began arriving at Vexar 7, drawn by Maya's example. They brought with them the same strange combination of traits that had made her successful: curiosity without cruelty, courage without aggression, a willingness to reach out across impossible divides. The Coalition established a new diplomatic category for humans. They were designated as bridges, beings capable of connecting species that would otherwise never find common ground. It was an honor previously held only by the most ancient and respected races in the galaxy. Shadow grew more comfortable with other humans over time, though Maya remained its favorite. The creature followed her wherever she went on the station, its massive form casting long shadows through corridors as it walked beside the small human who had first offered it kindness. Other station residents had been terrified at first, but they grew accustomed to seeing the unlikely pair. Sometimes Maya would catch other aliens watching her with something like wonder. She knew what they were thinking. How could something so small and soft and fragile have accomplished what she had? How could this insignificant species from a backwater planet possess abilities that the galaxy's greatest civilizations lacked? She never had a good answer for them. She just knew that humans were special in ways that couldn't be measured by technology or power or lifespan. They were special because they refused to accept that love had limits. They were special because they looked at monsters and saw friends waiting to happen. Shadow nudged her gently one evening as they watched ships arrive and depart from the docking bay. Maya scratched the sensitive spot behind the creature's jaw, and the purring vibration filled the air. "You know what, Shadow?" she said quietly. "I think we're going to be okay. Both of us, both of our species." The creature made that questioning sound, head tilting. "Because if a scary monster like you and a weak little human like me can figure this out, then maybe there's hope for everyone." Maya leaned against Shadow's massive form and smiled. Maybe that's what being human is all about. Finding hope where nobody else thinks to look. Shadow purred in agreement. Above them, the stars of the galaxy stretched out in endless possibility. And somewhere among those stars, more humans were waking up to their true potential, ready to show the universe that the greatest strength wasn't found in weapons or technology or ancient powers. It was found in a simple willingness to offer kindness to those who needed it most. That was humanity's gift to the galaxy, and it was only the beginning.